Hey, what's up, guys? It's SportsBlitz here, and we're back with another NFL record prediction. Before I get into it, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Guys, we're getting really close to 1,450 subscribers. If you could help me reach that goal, that'd be awesome. Really appreciate that. But let's go ahead and get on into our last division in football. We have done a prediction for every other team in the NFL except for the, NFC North teams. We're going to be covering all that today. We have preseason football tomorrow, and I'm excited. Let's go ahead and get on into it. So, I've got some games already selected here. That's because I've already done, you know, predictions for most other teams. But yeah, let's go ahead and cover that. So, I do have kind of a sneaky feeling that the Vikings are going to be able to pull off a good week 1 win. Um, I feel like the Vikings play the Packers relatively tough, and early on in the season, I don't know, I feel like the Vikings will be able to sneak one away from the Packers. But I do think the Packers will proceed to beat the Bears. I know they don't have Devontae Adams anymore, but you still Aaron Rodgers is a top 3 quarterback, and right now he might not be 2 or 3. I I think you might be able to say he's the best quarterback in the league right now. Um, and like he already said himself, he owns the Bears. So, I do have them losing to the Bucks week 3. That one I could definitely see going either way, especially where the Bucks' most questionable part of their team is really their secondary, in my opinion. Maybe they can get some big plays downfield and beat the Bucks, but I do see it as a relatively high scoring game. I just feel like the Bucks are going to be able to pull that one off. But I do have them proceeding to win 4 straight against the Patriots, Giants, Jets, and Commanders. I think those are all pretty easy wins. I do have them losing to the Bills the following week. That is one I could see going either way as well. The Bills are a really good team. It's just, man, I could see that one going either way. Okay, I think you guys understand. I do actually have the Packers sweeping the Lions. Now, Lions fans, don't click off yet. I really like Dan Campbell. I like what he's building. I think within a couple of years, the Lions, may be at the top of this division. Once Aaron Rodgers retires, and Dan Campbell has a couple more years under his belt, the Lions might be at the top of this division. It's just, I don't think it's going to be quite yet. So, I do have them getting swept by the Packers, but I like where the Lions are headed. I do also have before I get into the other games, I do actually have the Bears also getting swept by the Packers. Again, Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. It's pretty plain and simple. I really like Justin Fields, but I do not think they did a good job surrounding him with, help this offseason. Really, they've only got Darnell Mooney. And yeah, Darnell Mooney is really good, really talented. I expect him to have over 1,000 yards this season, but just they didn't give him help. So, but yeah, jumping back to the regular games here, I do have them beating the Cowboys. I think that'll be a good game. Have them beating the Titans. I do have them losing to the Eagles. I'm not an Eagles fan, but I really like where the Eagles are at right now. I love their roster. I think they have one of the highest potential defenses and underrated defenses in the league right now. You got guys like Darius Slay, Hassan Reddick, Fletcher Cox. They added Jordan Davis. They've got a lot of talent on that defense. And really, even offensively, they added A.J. Brown, so Jalen Hurts has a legit weapon, aside from Devontae Smith. I like that team a lot. So, giving that one to the Eagles, but coming off the bye, I do think they'll go ahead and lose to the LA Rams. I mean, the Rams are another one of those teams that are just, they're so good. Um, but I could honestly kind of see the Packers winning that one. I mean, it's Monday Night Football. Maybe they get a good win against Matt Stafford on Monday night. There's some tough to predict games here. Okay, there's some tough games. I think the Rams are going to be able to pull that one off. But I do think they'll win that other game against the Vikings, ultimately bringing the Packers record to 12-5. I think they have kind of a floor of 10-7 and a ceiling of like I'd say 13-4 or 14-3 ish. Good team even without Devonte Adams, but they are going to take a slight step back without him, in my opinion. But jumping over to the Minnesota Vikings, I already mentioned I think they'll beat the Packers. I think they will also lose to the Eagles. I actually have the Eagles as the number one seed in the NFC. I know I'm going to get hate for that, but I think the Eagles are a really good team. Um, I actually have the Vikings splitting with the Lions, actually. So, yeah, the Lions, I think they're going to be competitive this year. They're not going to be like necessarily a good team, but they'll be competitive in games. They'll be able to stay in games. Dan Campbell will coach them up really well, and I think they'll be able to stay in games. I do also have the Vikings actually splitting with the Bears. I On paper, I think this is a game that really the Vikings should sweep them, but I think the Bears get away with one here. You know, last game of the season. Um, I think it'll be kind of a game that a lot of players are kind of fighting for their jobs, you know? And really maybe even Matt Eberflus. So, yeah, I do have them beating the Saints. I think they'll play really tough against them. The Vikings always seem to play well against the Saints, from what I've noticed. I do have them losing to the Dolphins. Dolphins just have some really good receivers, and I don't think the Vikings really have quite the secondary to be able to stop them right now. But coming off the bye, I do have them beating the Cardinals. Not real high on the Cardinals this year. I had them at 7-10. A lot of Cardinals fans are mad at me for that. Have them beating the Commanders. Also not real high on them. I think they're kind of a pretty bad team. Losing to the Bills as well, but then proceeding to beat the Cowboys and the Patriots. Week 13, this is an upset, okay? This isn't one that I looked at and was like, oh, the Jets are the better team. No, I don't think the Jets are necessarily the better team. I think they'll be able to pull off an upset against Minnesota. I do like where the Jets are headed. They had a really, really good draft and really a solid free agency as well. I really like where they're headed. I don't expect them to be a playoff team this year, but they are a better team than a lot of people give them credit for. But yeah, I do have them beating the Vikings right there as an upset. I already talked about the Lions game. I do have them losing to the Colts. Colts, I think, are going to be one of the better teams in the NFL this year. I think Matt Ryan is going to lead them to... How many wins did I give them? Yeah, I gave them 13 wins. You know, I think with that stacked of a roster and Jonathan Taylor probably going to have another really big year, I don't think it's too far-fetched. But I do have them beating the Giants and then closing out the season losing to the Packers and Bears. I could very well see them beating the Bears this last week, sweeping them, and let me see. Is that enough to actually punch them into the playoffs? Yeah, if they were to get that, then they would actually have the tiebreaker over the Carolina Panthers, which is very possible. Very possible. I mean, on paper, the Vikings are the better team than the Panthers. I have a weird feeling that they're not going to sweep the Bears. It's just a feeling I have. But overall, 9-8 record for the Vikings. Um, I think after the season they'll kind of look to here's the thing. I like Kirk Cousins. I think he's a very underrated and disrespected quarterback, but I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to win you a Super Bowl. So I think after the season, them seeing another, 9-8 win record, I could see them moving on from Kirk Cousins. I don't know if that means going to Kellen Mond or if they're going to draft a new quarterback, if they're going to find someone in free agency, trade for someone. I don't know. But I think after this type of record, I think they'll move on from Kirk Cousins. But going over to the Lions, also having them lose to the Eagles, beating the Commanders. I already talked about the divisional games. I do have them beating the Seahawks. Not real high on the Seahawks right now. I think they'll lose to the Patriots. Coming off the bye, they lose to the Cowboys. They do get a surprise win over the Dolphins, though. That's one of the games that, like I said, they'll be able to stay really competitive in and pull off. Um, Getting swept by the Packers. I'm actually having them split with the Bears, having them each get a win at home. So there's that. Do have them beating the Giants, losing to the Bills, beating the Jaguars, then getting a win against the Vikings, losing to the Jets, losing to the Panthers, getting that other win against the Bears, and losing to the Packers. Closing out the season 7-10. I think it's a pretty big jump in Dan Campbell's second year. I think it's very promising, and I think Lions fans have a lot to look forward to in the future. I like what Dan Campbell's doing with that roster. I really do. I think the Lions fans have a lot to be excited for, in future years. Lastly, going to the Bears, we've already covered the divisional games. Spoiler alert, I do have them as a 6-11 team. They could honestly even finish lower than that, but I mean, I think they're gonna hit a little bit closer to their ceiling. Um, but yeah, losing to the 49ers, getting swept by the Packers. They beat the Texans, beat the Giants, but lose to the Vikings. Um, Beat the Commanders, lose to the Patriots, lose to the Cowboys. They also get a surprise win over Miami. I think Miami is going to be one of those teams that they're a lot better than their record shows, but they lose games that they shouldn't. I think that's going to be the type of team they are this year. Um, Again, splitting with the Lions. They lose to the Falcons, lose to the Jets, um, lose to the Packers, come off the bye and lose to the Eagles and Bills and Lions. Finish off the season with a solid win against the Vikings, 6-11. So, yeah, those are my NFC North predictions. I know I'm gonna get so many people disagreeing with that, but that's my opinion. Thank you so much for watching. Smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.